Hey everyone, welcome back to Season 2 of the Cardboard Herald's Cardboard Academy, the recurring show where I give you 5 quick strategy tips for you to hopefully do a little bit better in your favorite games. And today we're taking a look at one of my favorite recent cooperative games, and that is Leviathan Wilds. And my first tip for you is to know what is below. Yeah. Who would have thought in a game in which you're climbing, scaling enormous monsters that what's below you is important? But your biggest enemy in this game is going to be time, and you can lose a lot of it if you lose your grip, aka running out of cards, or even in certain situations voluntarily let go, falling to a ledge, or if there's no ledge beneath you, then plummeting all the way to the bottom of the board, which is a colossal waste of time to have to climb back up. So just always keep in mind what's underneath you. If you were to fall before you get back to your turn, what's the consequences of that? And when you're dealing with some particularly risky pickles, try to find a space where you have a reliable ledge underneath. Number 2 is to not burn through all your cards, because the consequences of doing so are, well, what we covered in tip number 1. It ain't good when you fall at an inopportune time, and those cards are your endurance in this game. Yeah, it's really tempting to take advantage of those great player powers that you have by using those cards, but you're going to be chewing through them a lot faster if you just voluntarily use them all the time. Be cognizant of your deck as a resource in addition to the feed of actions that are a little bit better than the stock actions you might otherwise have. Tip number 3 is have a plan for that dastardly blight. This is by far the worst damage that you can receive in this game, because it's a permanent form of damage that you can't really recover from. And every time you take an attack action against one of the blue, teal, crystal dice thingies, you're going to suffer blight for each action that you take. So you need to be aware at the beginning of not just what your climber, but every climber's capacities are for the blight shielding cards that you can use as your primary action card for the turn. Or when all else fails, just making sure that those crystals are attacked with big, chunky attacks that do as much damage in as few attack actions as possible. Number 4 is one I have to remind myself of all the time. Don't be over prescriptive about what someone's supposed to do based off of their player power and class combination. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of cooperative games where it's like, yo, you're a medic, you should be doing medic stuff. But in this game, you're a generalist first and foremost. Everyone is climbing this thing to smash these crystals, complete whatever side objectives there might be before the time runs out and the monster goes haywire. And you might have a particular flavor in how you're able to accomplish that, and you might be able to work synergistically with your team, but don't overly think about, oh, this is the big smashy guy, so only the big smashy guy should be off smashing crystals while someone else is doing something else. This is a game where everyone is working in tandem, kind of doing a little bit of everything. And 5, take advantage of the foreshadowing. One of the brilliant things about this system is that the beginning of a turn, the monster, the titan, the Leviathan foreshadows what they're going to be doing as far as the bad stuff generally happening at the end of your turn. So if you have just a little bit of patience and you're willing to zig when you were thinking of zagging, then you can mitigate most of the bad effects that are going to happen to you. Don't just stick to one objective that you've been thinking about for the last couple of turns and suffer really heavy, potentially permanent consequences because you just needed to do what you were going to do. Be willing to pivot a little to circumvent the worst of what the baddies are going to bring. Those are our 5 tips for next time you are climbing some Leviathans, but those aren't the only climbing tips that are out there. So if you are a Leviathan climber or you disagree with what I've said, put it in the comments below and let me know what game do you want to see us give some tips for next. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, thanks for being such an amazing community. You know that I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald.